Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, and welcome back to European Racing Organization. And this time around, we are in the F3 division, and this is a race in Netherlands. We can see drivers readying up now, so it should be any moment that we will have the qualifying session of 18 minutes starting in just a few moments. I see 10 people watching already, so that's a good turnout. And in terms of drivers, there are 15 drivers who have joined us today. Let's see if other people join us as well in the course of the qualifying session. So should be a good race, as Salfera, that's how I'm going to pronounce your name, says hi. He is the championship leader, and we will talk about the championship standings in some time. Hello Carsten, how are you doing? I hope everyone is keeping safe amidst this pandemic and you're taking care of yourselves as well as your loved ones. So this is my first time commentating in F3, so apologies if I don't get a lot of names right, so please bear with me on that. I usually commentate and I'm familiar with the people in F4 but not really in F3, so I will have to apologize for that. Nevertheless, let's hope it's a good race around this circuit, which some people like, some people don't. I personally am not a huge fan of this circuit because overtaking is really tough here. It's good for a time trial circuit because you can really push the car in those fast and medium speed corners. It's a lot of fun. But in terms of racing, I'm not 100% sure I like this circuit. So Carsten, this is You Can Beat Me. That's your host and the commentator for tonight. I'm from India. And okay, so there's Rafael saying it's JGVI, not JGVL. I will remember that, or I will at least try to remember that, Rafael, or I might just call you Rafael. So let's see how this one goes, and let's see. You can see already see cars who are on the track. So let's see who is out first. Is that CRL Alexia? That is CRL, who is the first person on track, and you can see he's on those yellow medium tires. So it seems like that people will be hoping to qualify on those mediums and doing a one stop from a mediums to hards. Even softs to hards is possible on this track, just that your softs probably die out during the final few laps of the first sprint. So this should be a lot of fun here. And if you did tune in to the F4 race last evening, it was a lot of fun too. Not a moment to spare for me as a commentator. There were battles all around the lap, and it was really difficult to keep up with all the action which was going on. Nevertheless, I think we have a dry session as well as a dry race, so no interference from the rain this time around, as the Red Bull of Alex now is starting his hot lap, and let's see how he goes around this circuit. Braking just at the 50-meter board, going into the second gear. That's a little different than what I usually see drivers doing. They keep it in third, but nevertheless he takes this nicely, and now on to the banked hairpin, which is really difficult for some people to get because of the banking as well as the traction out of the corner. But this section completely flat out, just need to keep the car nicely tuned in for this corner, which can be taken in the 7th gear. And then now coming to the misses apex slightly, then there's a car up ahead of Mr. Pep in the Haas, who will get out of the way so as to not impede this lap. And then coming to probably one of the trickiest corners on the circuit is the chicane after this DRS zone. Let's see how he takes that one. He breaks after the 100-meter board, probably between 100 and the 50-meter board, and now gets onto the power. It's a short track, this one, and as when he comes across the line, we will see what time it is, as he avoids the outside curb there. So probably just a banker lap from Alex, and let's see what this time is going to be. It's a 1 minute 10.2, which I'm sure will be beaten later on, as Salfera, the championship leader, puts a 1 minute 9.4 in the Ferrari. Let's see what the Alfa Romeo does. He has invalidated his lap. Is anyone on a lap right now? That's Fry Paper in the Mercedes, and I think he had a moment coming out of that corner, which is tricky as we just discussed. And watch something for you to just check, because the title of the stream right now is F4 and not F3, so please try to correct that as we are watching Fry Papers coming back into the pits. That's understandable because he did not take one of the corners very well. He lost his car. Here comes Edzak, who is still in the championship fight, and he puts a 1 minute 9.4, so good lap from him. And Paul, oh, that's, he's gone really deep there, probably trying to avoid a car. I'm not 100% sure. There was no car behind him, probably just lost concentration there. But yeah, it's Paul Jones in the Mercedes, I believe, with 1 minute 9.3. So Salfeira has a gap of 1/10 at the top. With Redo Shelm in the Renault, he is P3 right now with only 7 people putting in a lap right now. Is there anyone else on a lap? I think Alpham is coming into the pits. Gooch is still in. And is JJ Dog out? He is. So here's JJ Dog, but he has invalidated his lap time as well, so he will be coming in to the pits, as is Ivan Belov. Is he starting a lap? He's completing one, and he puts 1 minute 10.2. So the times will trickle down as the minutes go by, and the track will be rubbered up a little bit. Is JGI on a lap? No, he's not, and people are into the pits. There's a Haas, that's Fry Pepper, who is exiting the pits now, so let's follow his lap once he starts his hot lap. He is in P2 in the championship, and he had a very unfortunate DNF last time around, so he would be hoping that he can make up some points, because it's only 4 points between him and Salfeira at the top of the championship, with Edzak about 40 points, I believe, off the top. So he's still in the championship, and 1 or 2 batters for the top 2 can really bring him in. But for now, the championship title seems to be going to one of these drivers. It's Salfeira in the Ferrari, who is on provisional pole right now, and Fry Pepper, who is yet to set the time in his Haas. So I see 13 people who are watching right now. So any predictions you guys have for this race, and who do you think will come out on top on this peculiar track? As here goes Fry Pepper. Let's actually follow his lap. Not a lot of people around. So here is Pepper starting his hot lap, goes into the 3rd gear and will short shift to 4th, I'm assuming, on the exit. Yes, he does. Takes a little bit of the curb and then approaches this section of this banked U-pin or hairpin corner and takes it rather nicely. Again avoids the curb on the exit. That's something a lot of drivers do, so that they are not compromised on the traction. Coming to this very fast right-hander and takes it rather nicely, uses a lot of curb on the exit, and it's put a purple sector 1. So this is looking good. If you can hook up the next 2 sectors of the lap, he should be challenging for the provisional pole right now, as he goes to 3rd gear and then to 4th. This is exactly where he lost the car last time around, but keeps it nice and tight this time, and approaching the chicane where you want to take a lot of curb but it unsettles your car. But that was really nicely done. And here he goes, just 1 more corner to go before he can plant the power, as he puts it in 5th and not 4th, uses a lot of curb on the exit and then brings it to the left now, as there's already a retirement. That's Banks in the Williams, I believe, who has retired, and that's a pole position for Fry Pepper, and that is just 14 thousandths of a second between the top 2. So this should be an interesting fight for the pole. There's a lot of time is still yet, as Salfeira has just started his hot lap, his 2nd hot lap of the session, and I think he will not really be impeded or distracted by anyone on the lap. There's a Haas in front that's off Fry Paper, and he should be well in front. But that's an early retirement for Banks in the Williams in sector 2, and that is a shame because he will be starting last. But only 15 people tonight, so not sure if starting last is the worst idea in the world, because you will have track position once people pit. Either ways, that's the first prediction in terms of pole time, that there could be a 108 on the cards. I believe so as well. Just 2 tenths. If they can get those 2 tenths, they can get pole. But here is Salfera now approaching the final corner before he starts to put on the power, and he's going. That was a little conservative line through the final corner. He's coming back to the pits. Yeah, he is probably not improving as much. He is coming back to the pits. Let's see what his teammate is doing meanwhile as he now approaches the final line, and that's not a good lap. That's not an improvement, rather. He stays P5 right now. Is anyone else on the lap right now? That's Keisachi. I'm assuming that's how you pronounce his name in the Red Bull. He's improving. Let's see if he improves enough to take 2 positions. He does, and he goes P4 with a 1 minute 9.3 here. And I can see Masiek, who is going quite slowly at the start finish straight. He is into P11 now, since other drivers have put on faster laps. As Alpham, that's a lap which we missed, has put his car in P3 right now. Meanwhile, let's see if anyone else on this lap right now. Evan Bello has completed his lap as well, it seems, or rather he's down by a tenth, but he probably can improve in the final sector if he keeps it nice and tight in that racing point. There's this beautiful helicopter shot, and he's going to complete his lap. Let's see where it puts him. He stays P10 for now. And finally the other Williams of JJ Dog and the Mercedes of JGVI or Rafael is out for their hot lap. So still plenty of time for these people, and they can probably, as I was just trying to go to Shadow, or rather Red Ocean, and he has put it on pole right now with a 1 minute 9.1. so time's really trickling down now, and with only 7 minutes left in the session, it is about to get a little bit serious here, with the cars trying to make the best use of their gap. As I think it's JG who has started his lap. There he goes through the first corner, keeping it nice and tight. And let's actually see what kind of gears and ERS usage these guys have with the telemetry option we have in the broadcast. But he now is through that banked hairpin and through the section of the track where you are absolutely flat out, approaching the fast right hander now. Let's see which gears it takes. He shifts down to 6th and then up to 7th. Will go to 6th again, I believe. Yeah, he does. And the sector times is something we'll get to see when he approaches the split for sector 2. But for now, this has looked like a clean lap so far. Not sure if it's a banker lap or he's actually pushing a lot, but his lap time is a 48.9 for the second sector, and it is a purple second sector. That's what the game says. And here we go, approaching the final corner now. And Fry Pepper, you will have to tell me more. Why do I need to say that words on the stream for an F1 race? Here goes JGVI. He's P11, so that's a good lap from him, and that will give him strategy options before the race. As now JJ Dog is going to complete his lap in the Williams. Let's see where he puts his car. It goes P8 with a 1 minute 9.4, as the man who handles our Instagram accounts of ERO is here. Unknown. Hello Unknown. I'm not sure what your real name is, but I think you're known as Unknown, so that's good for us. Is Salfera on a lap right now? I think he has just started his lap, so actually let's right on board with him, because I don't think we have until now. And he approaches the hairpin, and that was rather nicely done, as he just loses the car there. And let's see where he puts his car for the final few turns of the first sector. Here the split will come. He's down by a 10, so this is not really helping his lap right now, as there is another car which is just started his hot lap. I think Paul Jones is on a lap, but let's follow Salfera for now, because he seems to be, there's a second sector which is purple, but he has to gain 1/10 if he wants to better his time from last time around. I'm not sure if he's going to finish that lap because not a lot of corners for him as he invalidates the lap. That is unfortunate, and he will be back into the pits. Now let's follow Paul Jones here. He is on a lap as well, and he invalidates as well, so that final corner is catching out a lot of people. But here is Edzak in the other Ferrari. He is not going to invalidate and he will complete his lap. Let's see where it puts him. He goes pole with a 1 minute 9.123, so that is half a tenth between P1 and P2. And wow, what a lap from Edzak here in the Ferrari. He knows he has to steal those points away from Salfera and Fry Pepper if he has any chance of winning the title in this season 5 with just 4 races to go, including this one I believe. So this is a really good lap from Edzak, and we still haven't seen anyone in the 1 minute 8s, but I think there's a very good chance that we will in the final few minutes of this qualifying session, as Paul Jones is on a lap right now, but he has depleted almost all of his battery. I'm not really sure this could very well be an in lap right now, as we see most of the guys on the pits, and completely missed is Masiak in the Alfa Romeo. He has gone P2, so Rado is in P3 now, and guys, look at the difference between the top two. It's 3,000ths of a second. This is a short track as we know, and this is why we will see lap times very very close to each other. So good lap from Masiak, and let's see, I think definitely has time to put in one more lap here, so he would be hoping to qualify as high as possible. But something which you see here is everyone is putting the fastest lap on those soft tires. That's something which is nice to see, because we can see the true pace of these cars without being hindered, and at the same time we can also know that all of these guys will be starting on these soft tires, probably going for a one stop. Not sure right now if there's a safety car at play, but it's Alfam who is going to start the final hot lap of the session for him, at least in the other Alfa Romeo. So the Alfa Romeo is sitting P2 and P6 right now, and let's hope if Alfam can actually get a few more positions using the track evolution, which would have happened in the last few minutes. Right, here we go, as Alfam is into the heart of sector 1 now. Let's see how he approaches this turn. Keeps it in 7th gear, avoids the curb on the left, and he has gone purple in sector 1. So was he hiding this pace all the while, as now this is the business end of the qualifying session, and there you can see that he is improving. Let's see what his second sector time is going to be. He's up by half a tenth there, but not really a purple sector, so not sure what's going to happen. He might get a little bit of a slipstream of the car in front. That's a Mercedes I believe, and it has distracted him a little bit. He has just kept it within track limits. Now through the final corner, and he approaches the start finish line. What lap time? It's a 1 minute 9.102. That is pole position, at least provisional pole for now, so that slipstream definitely helped him. But that first sector was really quick from Alfam, so that is a good lap from him. We still don't see anyone in the 1 minute 8s, but I think it's coming as long as we keep it clean. Is CRL on a lap right now? He is. So the Red Bulls are quite near to each other on the track, so it will be CRL who will first finish his lap in this final run on qualifying, and he is in P11 right now, but he is going to, let's see if he's improving in the second sector as he approaches the split right about now, and he's improving by almost 8 tenths, or rather 800ths of a second, and that was a purple second sector by him, so he will still have time to gain in the final sector. Let's see what this is going to be as he approaches the final corner. Now his JJ Dog goes pole with a 1 minute 9.0, and CRL Alex improves by a few positions as his teammate now doesn't improve. Let's see who else is on a lap. Is Paul Jones on a lap? He's not. Is a Ferrari behind him on a lap? Is that, no, it's Edzak. Yeah, Edzak is on a lap and he is coming back into the pit, so that is not an improvement for him. Is the Haas of, so it's Fry Pepper who is on a lap right now. He goes really wide there but keeps his lap time for now, and let's see what this lap time is going to be for Fry Pepper. Is it going to be higher? No, it's not. He finishes his lap time without any issues but without improving, as Mesak is into the pits. It's Red O'Shelm. Is he going to complete the lap? He is. Let's see where it puts him. He goes pole with a 1 minute 9.028. And is there anyone yet? Where is Salfera in all this? He's yet to complete his lap. Oh, he has lost his wing completely, as there's a Mercedes crossing the line. Is there a, that is unfortunate for Salfera, as Kaisachi is going for another run and has not really improved his lap time there. But this is Salfera, the championship leader, who has lost his entire front wing and is going into the pit. So that is the grid order, guys, for F3 in Zandvoort today, with Red O'Shelm taking pole. We did not see a time in the 1 minute 8s, but what a lap from Red O'Shelm. He goes pole with a 1 minute 9.028 with JJ Dog on the front row. So very close qualifying session. You can see the first 5 drivers within a tenth of each other, with Red O'Shelm and JJ Dog, the two Brits, on the front row, with Alfam in P3, Edzak in P4, Masiak in P5 and Fry Pepper in P6. Salfera, the championship leader, in P7, Kaisachi in P8, Sierra Alex in P9 behind his teammate Paul Jones in P10. And the people who will have tyre choice for the race are Ivan Belov in P11, Mr. Pep, JGVI or Rafael, DG Gooch and Banks in the Williams, who retired and could not set a lap time. So that has been a brilliant qualifying session with a lot of tumbling of the order, but it was so close between the top 5, and this should be a fun race. You can see that the drivers, in terms of their ability or in terms of their speed or pace around this track, are quite close to each other, so that should make up for some fun racing we are going to see on this wonderful Saturday afternoon. Right, we will take a very short break here and then we will be back for the formation lap. Right, so welcome back everyone, and we are on the formation lap, and as you can see on the stream, the race strategy is either a 1 or a 2 stop. I think a lot of drivers will be preferring a 1 stop here, but we don't know for sure if that's a better strategy, because especially if there's a late safety car, it could very well play in the hands of those 2 stoppers on softer and fresher tires. Either ways, we are on the formation lap and no hiccups so far. All drivers are on the formation lap. No one has been sent back to the grid because of a disqualification resulting from a contact. So the drivers would be hoping and would be focusing on their tire temperatures right now to ensure that their tires are at optimum temperature and they get the best launch from the grid as possible. So people who are watching the stream, any predictions for your top 3 in probably no particular order, as There is a glitch in the game which I don't know if you have noticed since the start. It says the fastest lap by Salfera. That was the first ever fastest lap which was recorded on the stream, and that's where it is stuck. So I hope that we can see that in the races later on, but for now we are stuck with the fastest lap counter at Salfera in the Ferrari with a 1 minute 9.2, which was, as we know, was beaten by at least 3 or 4 other drivers. Either ways, predictions for top 3 for people who are watching. Let me know in the comments who do you think is going to finish on the podium. Which of the drivers do you think are finished on the podium, especially now that the championship leaders are starting P6 and P7, so that really is an uncomfortable position for them. I'm not sure if they're used to starting in the middle of the pack, and you never really know what's going to happen in turn 1. This is not actually a very heavy braking zone for turn 1. It's usually taken in the third gear, maybe sometimes even the fourth, so but it gets tighter as you hit the apex. But yeah, that's a couple of predictions for us in the comments, as we will go through them after the 5 lights, as they will be coming on to the screen in just a moment. That's 2, 3, 4 lights on the grid, 5 lights out, and we're underway for this race, as the Williams of JJ Dog gets a good start as compared to him, so he will have the inside line for the race, but Red Ocean covers him off, and this is going to be a battle for the lead in the first few laps, but they keep behind for now. Behind, that's a Haas which has gone really wide, and that's Salfera in P3 right now, who is battling CRL LX, and the Red Bull gets it in front. So Salfera making up a couple of positions already behind. Fry Paper has lost positions as he absolutely, is that a safety car? No, it's not. It's a yellow flag, but that was a contact with someone else. But he is in P9 right now, and he can see this group up ahead which is battling for a lot of positions, as Keisechi locks up and tries to avoid the Ferrari in front. But what an opening lap we have had, as up front it is Salfera who's again trying to get ahead of the Red Bull, but at the same time he is behind Masek for now. So CRLLX, what a start from him. Let's see in terms of positions gained, how many positions have people gained. Yeah, CRLLX has gained the most positions with 5 positions gained, as Mr. Pep is retired. What happened to him? Mr. Pep has retired. Is that a safety car right now? It's not. Oh, that is a safety car. That is a lap 1 safety car, and that is the car of Mr. Pep in the Haas, who has retired before he could complete a lap. So that is really unfortunate, and we will see drivers pitting now, because I think definitely I could see lot of drivers who had, at least a few of them who had wing damage. So let's see what the front runners do. Do they pit or do they stay out and continue on those soft tires for a one-stop strategy? We'll have to see when these guys actually come into the pits, as the leaderboard is glitched a little. Masiek in the Alfa Romeo is not leading the race. I think now it's fixed, and it is still the top 3 who have kept their positions behind. There was a little bit battling between Alex and Salfera, with Alex coming out on top, and I think it was Maziak who was, just give me a moment until I figure this out, as JJ Dog is into the pits. Is Alpha into the pits? No, it's not. It's Alex into the pits. Salfera stays out, as does his teammate Edzak, and Kesichi stays out as well. Frypaper is into the pits. I think, let's see what it does. Does he go on mediums? Yeah, he does go on mediums, and that is a wing change for him as well, so he will lose a lot of time here. Ivan Belov has now jumped a lot of positions because he has stayed out into P6, so we can see 3 drivers already into the pits, and we have a race on our hands with just 5 drivers on the soft dryers. Everyone else is either on the mediums. We can see 2 drivers, Masiak and Rafael, in P14. on the hard tires. So this should be a lot of fun because the field will be bunched up and those soft tires will be faster than mediums and hards for the first few laps of the stint. But after those first few laps, that is when the medium tires will come in handy, and Ivan Belov, who is the first medium tire runner, should be hoping to stick with those soft tire runners and take advantage of those medium tires later on in the race. As Banks, who probably started P15, has jumped 8 positions already because of pit stops and keeping it clean in the first few corners. He is running in P7 right now in his debut race for Williams as a full-time driver. So qualifying did not go according to plan, but his race has been good so far, and if he can keep out of trouble like he has in the first 2 laps, he should be hoping for a good points finish. Is anyone diving into the pits right now? I don't think so, as Paul Jones is the only one who has a penalty. I believe that's a 5-second penalty for speeding into the pit lane, so nothing he can do about that, and he will just have to serve it the next time he pits or at the end of the race. But I don't think he can take those cars at the end of the race, so he will have to serve it in the pits. But either ways, the pack has bunched up now, and I think we should be seeing the safety car coming into the pits at the end of this lap, after which we can actually get racing without any interruptions. So for people who had put Fry Pepper as their one of the podium finishers in predictions, do they still want to stick with him, or do they want to change their predictions right now? Because he's running P13, he's on a set of medium tires, so not all is lost, but I think everyone else is still on a one-stop strategy, so he will have to ensure that he makes use of those tires and stop this man Salfeira from getting a championship lead after the end of this race, as confirmation was in the bottom left. Safety car is coming in at the end of this lap, so it is up to Radoshelm, who will be dictating the pace for the next few seconds and will be the de facto safety car. And when the safety car actually enters the pit lane, that is when he can go. Let's see when he actually chooses to restart here. We will follow on board with let's stay on this camera which is off board, and that is the confirmation. He has gone, has Red Ocean, and behind, let's see if anything is going on. I don't think so, and there is no real there is something going on, as JJ Dog has picked up a couple of places, is behind his teammate now, and for now he has jumped DJ Gooch for P8. So the Williams running P7 and P8, that's good for them, as Salfeira has lost a little bit of a touch with Alpham in front. So if Edzak, I'm not sure if these guys are in a party chat, but if they are, they would be discussing strategy, whether they want to switch positions right now. But it's too early in the race, as Sierra Alex makes a move and climbs to P12. With behind is Banks and JJD, both trying to pressure as a Williams, but the Williams are fighting as they are trying to get ahead of the racing point, but they have switched positions, and JJ Dog is in P7 with his teammate behind him, as up front it is Edzak who is still behind Salfeira. And when they are now going to approach the turn 1, Salfeira has left the session, as that is really unfortunate. So that will be an easy overtake for his teammate, because it is Salfeira's AI who's driving right now, and he is going to lose a lot of positions here because of this. I hope he can rejoin pretty soon, as behind he has joined back, so but he will be losing a heap of positions, and this will absolutely be important for Fry Pepper here, as he overtakes him as well. So he has lost a lot of positions. This a Red Bull of Alex, who has gone completely off track into the gravel and has lost a lot of positions again. Is Salfera back in control of his car? Not yet. But up front, it's JJ Dog now making the moves, and it's on the back of Ivan Belov. So JJ Dog is making up a lot of positions. You can really see him pushing and trying to take advantage of those medium tires, and he wants to be the lead medium tire runner in this race. As now they approach the final corner, they're through the final corner now, and let's see if he's actually going to make a move. He can ride on board with his teammate Banks in P9 or rather P7 right now, but he stays behind. Does Lijoda for now as up front. Let's see what Salfera is doing. Is he has taken control of his car, so not glitching anymore, but he has lost a lot of time to the cars, and he has also been the strategy as well, because now he's on the soft tires and he's fighting people who are on harder tires than him, so he will lose even more time there. As further ahead, JJ Dog is still on the back of Ivan Belov, and this time he will have DRS since it has been 2 laps since the safety car came in. So the next time they are through the start finish straight, that is when he will be hoping to make a move, as the gap up front is only 6/10 of a second. So we will keep an eye out on that as well, because it seems to be decreasing a little bit as we go ahead. Is a move on the cards right now? I don't think it is, but it's JJ Dog now going to for a move on the racing point. He takes the outside line, he's pushed right, he's pushed towards the right, and he will have the sweeping line going into the corner, and he has that position. What a move from the Williams driver, and he will be hoping to now get close to the Red Bull of Kaisechi. As up front the gap is just 3/10, and the next time when Alfam is through that corner in sector 2, he will have DRS on Redo Shelm. Salfera is making the moves behind. He's in P11 right now, and he is in DRS of Masiek on hard tires in P10. That's the last points paying position, and here we go now. It's Banks who is behind Belov, so Belov is in a bit of a Williams sandwich right now. As up front, this is the move you have been waiting for. It is going to be an easy move for the lead, as Elfam takes the lead from the Renault of Radoshem. So good move from Elfam. He is into the lead of the race. As there's a yellow flag as DJ Gooch has retired in the final sector. We can't unfortunately go to him because there are no cars around him, but there's a yellow flag, and I don't think a safety car or even a VXC will be deployed, as Banks has actually now overtaken Belov. So the Williams are making the move, as behind it's Alex who is making a move, or has rather made a move stick on the Mercedes of JGVI, who is fighting back right now. Let's see if these guys can keep it clean, as the Mercedes goes a little bit off track there, and for now he stays behind, but he almost lost the car riding that very high and dangerous curve. As you can see, plenty of those around this circuit. Salfera now, he is a man on a mission on those soft tires. He has DRS on Masiek, and Masiek, he would be hoping that his teammate up front can bunch the gap up a little bit so that he can catch up to guys. These two were battling before the safety car came out, but Masiek's decision to pit has triggered a lot of other pit stops. But let's see if Salfera can actually make a position right now. Not on this lap, but he is hoping to make that move stick sooner rather than later, because the next car after he overtakes Masiek will be his championship driver in Freipaper. So unknown, I think it was Mr. Pep who retired on the first lap. I think that was a final corner, which was the reason why the safety car was deployed. So Mr. Pep in the Haas could not finish or just about could not finish the first lap of the race, and that is why a safety car is deployed. As there's a yellow flag somewhere, that's a Williams of JGVI who has lost it coming out of probably the same corner which he was fighting Alex earlier, and he is now 8 seconds of the driver in front. As when talking about drivers in front, it's JJ Dog who is still making moves, and look at his gap right now to Kaisachi in P4. So the Williams are going really nicely right now, and Salfera is still stuck behind. So let's turn our attention to this battle with Banks and JJ Dog both on the back of Kaisachi, who is just within DRS, has just slipped out of DRS now as far as the Ferrari of Edzak is concerned. So because he will not have DRS going into the next few corners, that will give JJ Dog a real opportunity to take that place, and what a drive it has been for him on those medium tires. If he can actually make that move stick, it would be a lot of help for him, because then he can make use of those medium tires, go long into the race. And I'm not sure, can he put on a set, can these medium runners go long into the race now and put on a set of soft tires for the end? That would be maybe a little, I'm not sure if that's really possible, but either ways, that's something which we will see in a few laps, as there's a Ferrari into the pits. That's a 5-second penalty for Salfera. He is into the pits and he's putting on the hard tires, so he's stuck behind Masiek for so long, and he is going to the end of the race now. As up front, it's JJ Dog who's still behind Kaisachi, and this is in his helmet in the car. He would be a little frustrated now. He has the pace on those medium tires to get in front, but because Kaisachi has DRS from the car in front and his soft tires are not doing too bad right now, he's able to keep ahead. But as the commentator scores, that's Kaisachi who has lost it at the exit of the corner, and I think that would definitely be wing damage. You can see wings stranded there, and that is a real shame for him. Just as we were saying that he has been lucky in a way because of the DRS he's getting from the Ferrari of Edzak in front, but I can see someone in the pits. That's Red O'Shelm who has pitted. So that is the first pit stop from the front runners, and let's see what Alfam does. So Red O'Shelm is going for the undercut right now, and that will trigger, I'm sure, a lot of other pit stops. As Frypaper is now making a move on Paul Jones, and Frypaper in the Haas is through, and his next target will be Ivan Belov in the Racing Point on the same tires as he is right now. But Kaisachi comes out of the pits on a set of mediums. That's a little strange to see, because I'm not sure if they will go to the end, but either ways, this is going to be intense here, as the Williams of JJ and Banks are now running P3 and P4, and they are looking really good here. I think the next time around, if Edzak doesn't really pit, I think he will lose a position to Edzak here. But up front, as we wait for this, let's see what the race leader does. Does he come into the pits? I think he has gone into the pits, or he has stayed out rather, but that is Edzak into the pits. Alfam has stayed out for one more lap, so he is not really feeling the threat of the undercut. Maybe is who's in the pits? That's Edzak into the pits, losing a lot of positions, and Ivan Belov is still fighting Frypaper here. So Edzak, after coming out of the pits, is P10, and he is 2.7 seconds adrift of Red O'Shelm in first place, or the net first place. Right, here we go. It's Masiek who is on a charge after his early pit stop, and I'm not sure if he has plans to actually pit at the end, or just take these tires to the end of the race. I'm not really sure what his plans are, but he has done well so far on those hard tires, and let's see how he gets on in this traffic, I must say. So a lot of traffic right now. As up front, is Alfam going to pit? He's not going to pit. And behind, it's JJ who's now putting the fastest lap of the race, and he will be hoping to close up to Alfam now, because this is getting a little worrisome here. Let's have a look at the interval from leader. As you can see, Radoshan is just 14 seconds behind Alfam, so he definitely has undercut him, and I think it's a very conscious decision from Alfam to stay out despite knowing that he will lose positions. So he's probably hoping that the fresh tires he will have towards the end of the race, the fresher tires will be helpful for him. That is what he is banking his hopes on. But for now, he is behind, as Alex gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Let's have a look at the penalty situation as we are staying here, and it's a 5-second for Paul Jones and 5-second for Paul Selfera, both of which were for speeding into the pit lane, so they will be added to the race times if they don't pit again. And it's 3-second time penalties for CRL LX and JGVI. So here we go now, on board with JGVI as Alfam. Has he lost a place? No, he has not. He is actually into the pits, so it will be fun to see. As here goes CRL LX. He is running out of battery right now, and I don't think he has enough straight line speed as he tries to make a move there, slightly touches the car, and oh, that would have been a crash. But he is fine for now as Alfam exits the pit, and look at the time he has gained. Rather, he has lost, but he's on a set of mediums here, and he is going to the end of the race from here. So maybe that was the plan all along, to ensure that he comes out on mediums instead of hards. But CRL Alex is really pushing his way through the field right now, and he wants to get ahead of Paul, both of whom are on the same strategy right now. So they are trying to ensure that one of them is into the pits for those set of soft tires or maybe hard tires right now, as the Red Bull is still behind for now, but it is not really working out as Alfam behind is on the back of Red Shell. So not long before he starts pushing and making use of those softer tires to get in front, as Red Shell again losing time to Alfam all the while, who is in DRS, and he has good battery life as well as compared to Radoshan. So this should be fun, as Banks has pitted for a set of hard tires now. So JJ Dog would be next, but he will have newer tires towards the end of the race, and if he's able to make a good in lap here, JJ, he could be well within the mix of Radoshan and Alfam, because look where Banks has joined. He has joined just 1.3 seconds behind these two, and it is very much possible that JJ Dog is into the fight for the lead to come the end of the race. Nevertheless, let's follow Alfam, who is just 4 tenths behind his rival for the race, and this is, it looks like he will make quick work of Radoshan here, because Radoshan will not have DRS and doesn't have the same purchase the medium tires will have. So here goes Alfam now, and up ahead, as he sets the fastest lap in the process, up ahead CRL Alex. Yes, that's contact, that's definite contact, but probably just wheel banging. But that's Alfam who is through now, and up ahead Alex has gotten ahead of Paul Jones, who's now coming under pressure from Massiek here. So Paul Jones has to be careful, because Massiek is on the strategy which will probably take him to the end of the race. JJ Dog up front has still not pitted. He's going on for one more lap at least, and let's see when the next time he comes around the final corner, we will have a look whether he is going to pit or not. but right now it seems like we are as we are approaching, we are already at the halfway distance of the race. It seems like it's all going smooth for the Williams and the Alfa Romeo cars. Let's see, does JJ Dog pit this time around, or does he stay out for one more lap? He is staying out, so I think he's definitely going for a soft tires right now. Did I see anyone into the pits? I think we did. That's Paul Jones into the pits as Messier gets his position either way. And look at the gap which Alfam has to Redo Shelm. It's more than a second now, so that's definitely something for Redo to look, and he would be hoping that those medium tires which Alfam is on are degrading with every few laps, and he's able to make use of his more durable hard tires come the end of the race. But Alfam now on the back of his teammate Messier, so let's see if either of these guys fight, or does Messier let Alfam through, because they're on completely different strategies, and it would help the race and championship standing if they are not fighting right now. As here is the confirmation, Messier lets Alfam through. He moves to one side, and that is nicely done from the Alfa Romeo boys with minimum time loss, and Messier will have DRS the next time they are through the start finish straight. So Alfam now will be hoping to catch CRL Alex, who is now catching Belov. Is either of them going to pit right now? No, they are not. So they stay out for night now as Frypaper pits, and he would be going on a set of mediums, I believe. Yeah, he is going on a set of mediums, so he is made his second stop. And let's see, because as Salfera is now exiting the first corner, he is ahead of them, so that is the confirmation. Salfera has lost a lot of time here, and he is on harder tires compared to Frypaper. So Frypaper just covering off Salfera, it seems like, and he still has a lot of opportunities to make up more points in the race, as Redoshel has gotten really close to Messier up front, and he could be in for a lot of points, and probably more overtakes in the race. As up front, oh, that's Ivan Belov completely round there, and that is contact with CRLLX. But we have to move our attention back to Radoshelm. That's a lot of positions lost for Belov, as he will probably lose one more position to the Ferrari of Edzak. So let's see how this one goes. Is he pitting Belov? He's not pitting. He's staying out for now, and that is a position gain, as Alex has to pit, and that will be a lengthy pit stop because of a wing change. And Radoshelm now on the back of Messier. He has, as he has been for the last lap or two, and I don't see any rain right now, but if you look at the skies, it has suddenly turned quite overcast here. So Messier, while he's defending from Redo, it also means that he is helping his teammate out to go away into the distance, as Woj is saying. He's saying that he asked the Alfa Romeo boys to swap. So I don't believe him for 1 second, but I think that was a smart thing to do. Anyone could have done that, as that's a real dive bomb from Redo Shelmy. Gets a 3-second penalty in the process, does not get the move done, and loses more time to Alfa in the process. As JJ Dog goes around for one more lap, he is definitely going for a set of soft tires at the end, as Messier will still have the position, and Zedoshelm is trying on the outside. I don't think it will work out. Yes, Messier pushed him wide, and pushed him so wide that Edzak, oh no, Edzak is quite far behind, but it has allowed Banks out of nowhere to take that position. So what a move from Banks in taking opportunity of that push from Messier, as Radoshelm was pushed round, or rather wide, and he has, instead of gaining one position, he has lost one, and with a 3-second time penalty, this would be a difficult one, as now it is Alex who's on the back of Salfera here. So this is not really going according to the plan for the Ferrari driver this time around. He will hope to gain some points at the end of the race, but it's not looking good right now for him, as he is being challenged from the from the Red Bull rather. And I think the next time they are in the start finish straight, that is when an overtake will be on the cards for Alex, who had an incident coming together with Ivan Belov, who is running P7 right now. Is not fair. Oh, that is really, oh my god. Oh, that's really unfortunate. I don't know what he is doing, Alex. He is running towards the left of the grid there into the grass. And as Sulfera continued there, he has continued. I don't think he has any wing damage. Does he have wing damage? Doesn't seem like he has wing damage. That was really strange to see. It's almost like Alex ran into the back of him and misjudged where the Ferrari would be. But now it is Banks right now who is challenging Masiak for it's Banks who's challenging Masiak for the final place on the podium, with Radoshem close behind, as JJ Dog finally pits. And let's see what tires he goes on. I'm assuming it will be a set of soft tires. Yeah, it is a set of soft tires, as now it's Banks on the move. Is he going to make a move here? It's far behind. As Masiak is, I've been really impressed with Masiak this afternoon. The defending which he has done, placing his car exactly in the middle, and that is why he's been able to ensure that he has that track position and is making very difficult for the drivers to overtake, as it's JJ Dog who is now on those soft tires. And look at him, he can see the top 3 cars in front of him, and he goes for a move. He has gone for a move on Redoshell, and using those new soft tires to good effect, he will be making this place, I think. Yeah, he has made this place. What a move from JJ, really impressed from him tonight. And he is now, as Redoshell is fighting, but he has lost it. He was fighting for the position there, was trying to make a move back and trying to take that place back. He has lost a lot of positions, and up ahead it is Banks who's now going to make a move on Masiak. This would be an easy one. Let's see if JJ Dog can actually follow through. He can't right now, but it doesn't really matter. He has the best tires out of everyone right now in the top fight, and if they can clear these 2 guys easily, as Redoshelm has retired in the pits, so that is probably out of frustration after what happened. And these guys now have to deal with a very fast JJ Dog, as JJ Dog is really running into the back. He really cannot stop himself from making those moves, can he? He is absolutely flying on those very fresh soft tires right now. And as we now wait for the place where he made the move on Redoshell, he's now going to make a move on Masiak. And if Masiak is, he doesn't fight back. That's the sensible thing to do. There is absolutely nothing you can do when someone is on such a charge. And so that's 3 retirements already, with Redoshell retiring into the pits, as with just 11 laps to go. What a race this is turning out to be. And JJ really is within a shot of a win here, I believe, because I think he will definitely overtake Banks on the next lap, or maybe this lap. Banks makes a mistake and he has lost a position, so this has promoted JJ into P2, and with 10 laps to go, he just has to gain 3 and a bit seconds on Alfam, who has run a brilliant race so far. So now I think all that matters is the battle between Masiak and Banks, but I don't know if Masiak has enough tires left. He's already on a 23 lap old set of hard tires, and he would be hoping for a late safety car here, because that would really bunch the field up, and that would help him to make a quick change of the tires without losing a lot of positions, and at the same time it would help him to switch to a tire where he is able to compete and fight for positions. As you can see, in the last lap alone, or in the last few sectors alone, it's JJ who has taken 7 tenths away from Alpha. So that is the gap. You can see the gap is 2.8 right now. So next time they come around the final corner, or rather the start finish line, let's see what that lap is going to be, and this could very well be an attempt for the fastest lap for JJ. So let's stay on board with him for the rest of the lap, because not really a lot of battles going around right now. Let's see, JJ keeps in the 6th gear and now switches to 7th before he will move back to the 6th, and that is the line he's taking right now, and has taken a further 5 tenths from Alpha in the first sector alone. So is a man possessed right now is JJ. And let's see, when he approaches the second sector, he is taken a further 3 tenths from Alpha. So the gap was 2.8 when the lap started, and the gap will be under 2 seconds, I believe, when the lap will end, or just about 2 seconds. So this is going to be a real fight to the finish, as behind I can see Kasechi on a charge, as he now is going to put JGVI under pressure, and the Red Bull's not having the best of the days because of incidents, but it seems like they will still finish in points, both of them if not one, with CRLLX in P10. I believe he has, let's see how many penalties he has. He has 6 seconds of penalties, and JGVI has 3 seconds, but he's 16 seconds behind. So definitely Alex is going to finish in points barring any last minute mishaps, but at the same time Kaisechi will hope to make a move on JGVI this time around. He has some amount of battery left, not a lot, but he makes use of that DRS, and as we go through this helicopter shot, not a lot of room given by the Mercedes, but it is just enough for the Red Bull to be through, as Mercedes now almost rides the curb there, which you sometimes want to avoid. But that's Kaisechi into P11, and with just 7 laps to go, I think that's where he's going to finish. But if he's able to claw another 10 seconds, which is a tough ask, he can be within a shot of points, because his teammates has 6 seconds of penalties. Either ways, I think the battle for the lead of the race is going to spice up in the next couple of laps, because JJ has taken off another 5 tenths from Alpha. So while Alpha's tires are more durable, JJ's tires are faster and fresher right now, and I think that's where he has to ensure that he doesn't take much out of the tires right now, so that he is able to ensure that his tires last to the end of the race without a major performance issue, because these tires are not as durable as the medium tires. And while he's gaining all the while, I hope he's not pushing too much for his sake. And is he going to be in DRS this time? I think he is. He will just about get DRS, or will he not? Let's stay on this camera angle. Does he get DRS? He does get DRS, so that is crucial. That is absolutely crucial, and if he can stay within that 1 second gap, he will have more opportunities to get closer to Alpha and then finally overtake him. Look at him, because of that DRS he has closed down the gap to just 7 tenths now, and as we see in Netherlands quite so often, with all the 3 tire compounds being used, that is the beauty of this track. While it is not my favorite track in the world, but because of such strategies coming into play, we can see JJ, who that was a very conscious call from him to stay out longer and go on to the set of soft tires at the end, but that has really helped him in his charge. Now you can see JJ's battery here, as one of the comments is, and he is not really very high in terms of battery, and at the same time you can see Alpha's battery is almost like 30-35%, as JJ gets a 3 second penalty. That has really ruined his chances of a race win here. He gets a 3 second penalty, just JJ, and that would be a blessing for Alpham. He would be thanking heavens for that, because it's messy with the late pit stop here. I think he's going on a set of softs. He's going on a set of softs here that promotes Fry Pepper into P5, and let's see if Sulfera is going to overtake him as well. I don't think he's going to, but that is something. The Sulfeda is in P7 right now. JJ Dog is now just 4 tenths behind Alpha here. So unknown, I am aware that we can turn on the MFT in the spectator menu, but the reason I am not is that if people are watching the stream, if the drivers who are watching the stream, who are racing right now, it just gives them a little bit of an unfair advantage in terms of knowing what kind of ERS do their competitors have if they are battling them. So that's probably the only reason why I am not switching on the MFT in races. I do it in qualifying but not in races. I hope that's fine, we can discuss that. But here is JJ now, who's still behind Alpham, and Alpham just needs to hang on here for one more lap, I believe, because after that he knows he has the pace and JJ's tires will be degrading by now. So if he can just stay ahead for just one more lap maybe, and so it will ensure that JJ does not get a gap of 3 seconds after being overtaken, or rather after overtaking Alpham here. So he's losing a lot of time right now, JJ, and he has to overtake Alpham at the earliest possible opportunity. He's almost running into the back of him right now, and here we go now. And not this time around, but JJ now coming onto the back of Alpham. He has been seeing the back of that Alfa Romeo for quite some time now, but it is not really helping him out right now. Let's see, again doesn't have much ERS to play with, but this time around he will have DRS, and he is still staying behind. So if I think, yeah, that all but guarantees Alpham's race win here, unless he is a warning away from getting a 3-second penalty, because all the while it is Banks. Now this is something which you should remember, is Banks is just 3.6 seconds behind JJ right now, and if he can push a little bit more and extract more from his hard tires, which are just 15 laps old, so it's not that they will be very worse for wear, he can actually get P2 here. JJ is within 3 seconds now, and what a drive it has been. He's almost losing it out of that corner and lost a lot of momentum. He rode that curve which you usually try to avoid into that corner, but that has made him lose a bit of momentum. And look at the gap to Banks now. His teammate is just 3.1 seconds behind, and this is going to be crucial here. He's trying to get the race win, but he might lose P2 here. JJ, he has to be careful this time, and there's no overtake on the cards on this lap. And if Alpham is just playing smart here, he just needs to ensure that he finishes the race cleanly, and he will be on the top step of the podium. So what a final few laps we are getting here from these drivers. Wonderful battles for the lead, for the midfield, everywhere, and this is really helping us out. Let's see, I think it's Sulfera with a 5-second penalty, so he is probably going to lose that P7 as well, and that's a 5 second for Sulfera, so he will lose that P7, so he will lose points to Fry Pepper in the championship, and that will only heat things up for the final 3 or 4 races of the season. Right, we are still on this battle, and they have started their penultimate lap, so this is going to be close as JJ goes onto the grass. He is really getting impatient now, but good thing for him, he will still finish P2 as things stands, because Banks is 3.4 seconds behind, so he's not really gaining on JJ despite a couple of mistakes from the wonderful driver that JJ is. That's the first race I'm spectating him, but his drive has really impressed him. Both the Williams actually, they have been really fast, and Banks especially. He started P15 and he's finishing P3 here. That is a wonderful drive from the Williams, as this is his first race as a full-time Williams driver. So this should be a lot of confidence boost for the Williams team to see both the drivers doing so well, as JJ goes wide again. And I think there's a yellow flag. Is that Kaisechi? That is Kaisechi, who has lost it at the exit of turn 1, but for now he is through and he will finish the race. And right, so we are on the final lap now, and it looks like Alfam is going to win this race comfortably here. So good, really good race from him as well as JJ, and the gap now is just at the teetering edge of 3 seconds. So this should be very interesting to see where Banks finishes now, considering the 3 second penalty which JJ has. But what a race it has been from Alfam, and what a battle it has been for the lead in the final few laps, because Alfam, who was battling Fry Pepper at the start, or rather in the first stint, has not really put a foot wrong here in this race, as now with just 2 corners to go, it is Alfam who is going to win the race in the Alfa Romeo with his teammate Masiak running P6. But it is going to be JJ who finishes P2 on the line, but it will be Banks who will finish P3 because of time penalty. So what a result it has been from him, from P15 to P2, probably one of the contenders for drivers of the day, with Edzak in the Ferrari finishing P4, who are leading the Constructors Championship battle. Hots up as Freipaper finishes P5 with Masiak in P6. Salfeda will finish P7, but his lap, or rather his position, will be taken away, as Paul Jones will probably finish ahead of him in P7. Yes, he does. Ivan Belov, who had coming together with CRL Alex, will finish P9 with Alex finishing P10. Kaisechi in his Red Bull will finish P11, it seems like, so not the best of the races for the Red Bull boys. And JGVI will finish the last of the finishers in P12. So what a wonderful race we have had so far, and while we don't have time today for the podium interviews, it would be fun to go through these guys' reactions once they are settled in and once the adrenaline is settling in, as JGVI goes very wide at the final corner, but he will finish the race nonetheless. But what a race this has been. Topsy-turvy, we had 3 DNFs, one on the first lap, second on one of the initial laps, and then Radoshelm, after that contact with JJ, retired into the pits. And driver of the day, rightly so, is Banks in his debut race as a full-time Williams driver. He is the driver of the day, starting P15, finishing P2. So we will quickly have a look at the results, after which we will have to end the stream because I need to be somewhere absolutely urgently. But nevertheless, that is Alfam on the top spot of the podium with Williams guys joining him, and that is the final race classification for you on your screen. Alfam in P1, Banks in P2, JJ Dog finishing P3, Edzak in the Ferrari P4, Freipaper doing his championship chances a few good as he finishes P6, Masiak in P5 rather, Masiak in P6, Paul Jones P7, Salfera not the best of the races for him in P8, Ivan Belov in P9, Alex the final points playing positions, had a few incidents, also put the fastest lap of the race in P10, Kaisechi in P11, JGVI in P12, and the non-finishers were Radoshelm, who retired into the pit lane, DJ Gooch and Mr. Pep in P15. So that being said, that is it from the Comsbox this weekend for the F3 division, and please leave a like if you enjoyed that coverage. and see you next time around for the next race, which I believe is in Silverstone if I'm not wrong. So take care of yourselves, goodbye, and stay safe, and ensure you take your vaccine shots when you get them. Goodbye.